that. So.
UCLA looks any different with new head coach?
Oh boy, they're talented. They just they were at home and they hit shots and played with more energy. But they still same talent level and same schemes and everything. Just hit some shots, played with a lot of energy at home, and but they are talented. Wilkes and Hands, and they're just a talented group of guys.
It's like they have a lot of size.
Yeah, they are big. They are big. I thought we matched up with them pretty good. And right now we don't, but we're just going to have to really play hard. It's going to be really hard to stay with them on the boards. We got to be physical, and everybody's got to rebound.
You see them do that. I mean, they had some coach leaves, and you mentioned they come out with some energy in the next one. Is that almost what you tell your guys too? Hey, look, we're maybe in a position we didn't expect. Let's maybe play a little bit more free and go out there like you saw them do last week.
Yeah, I don't like our energy level. Our energy level's not good. We started the game against Oregon State. We've had a number of games where just energy level's not good, and that's partly on me. I mean, guys got to come energized, ready to play, but coaching staff's got to have them ready. And I know it's obvious to our fans, it's obvious to our coaches. Our energy level's just not good enough.
With the size disadvantage, and you talked about playing more on the perimeter anyway, is this kind of shape up to a game that, maybe without giving away the game plan, it's kind of obvious? Do you have to play more of a three-point game to create longer
Well, we're
rebounds?
going to have to hit some shots. With Moses in there, he creates problems. He's big, and we're going to have to hit some shots. They've zoned a lot more, the last couple of games, and so, I don't think it's any secret. You take Bull and Kenny out of there, we're not as productive inside, and Francis is really playing hard. He's doing a lot of good things in the short minutes, but he struggled a little bit offensively, and he's put a lot of pressure on himself. And for a freshman who hadn't played that much, he can't put himself in that position. We're not putting him in that position. He's putting himself in that position, and he just needs to relax and defend, rebound, quit worrying so much about his offense. I told him, a young man and freshman, you start putting that kind of pressure on yourself to go out and score buckets. It puts you in a real tough position.
Coach, Bull was having a great three-point shooting season. Without him, it seems like everybody's had trouble finding that same space. So as you try to recreate that, how do you go about finding more space, and what's your message on aggression from the three-point line right now?
Well, our guys got to share the ball. I don't like our ball movement. I haven't all season. We've got to do a better job there. When we've made good plays, you have a number of possessions where you can really see the ball movement's good, and you get a little better shot. And sometimes we don't make the shot, and our guys give up on it right away. And a good shot's a good shot, and I think if we continue to find those, our percentages will go up. It's when we take the tough ones, shots off the dribble, contested shots, those numbers, traditionally aren't good, and they haven't been good this year. So we've got to do a better job moving the ball, finding better shots, and I think if we could get into that mindset, I think our percentages would go up. If we've got better shooters than what we're showing, we've got to have better passers and better ball movement.
Any more impressions of the game Lou played the other day? And you mentioned the rebounding right after the game. Any more impressions after watching film?
Well, that was by far the biggest thing that stuck out. He went and got 10 rebounds, and on a night that we desperately needed someone to rebound. And so, loved his effort there. I thought he took a couple shots that he could have made plays for guys, but I thought his aggressiveness offensively was good. And, so I thought he played a better game. His defensive feel for the game was really good. I think he got winded at times. He's still, after 9 months off, still kind of working himself into condition. But I thought he played better, and I thought the rebounding, definitely gave us an opportunity.
His and Peyton's numbers were significantly better in the second half compared to the first. Are they linked together? Are their successes? Can you pair them together if one guy's open and playing well, the other one is?
I think everybody's linked together. In the first half, Will made him a three. That was really a good shot, The second three that he hit, Peyton made for him. They were two really good shots. You know, I think everything's linked together.
Correct.
You know, we've got to make plays for each other, and our assist numbers are not what they should be. Two things that really, you know, show our offensive effectiveness is when our assists are up and our turnovers are down. You know, second half against Boise, we didn't have a turnover until we didn't take a shot the last possession. You know, and that's why we had a productive half. I think we scored 41 points. We didn't turn the ball over, and our assists total were up. So it's a big stat for us offensively, and that goes back to ball movement, goes back to making simple plays. And, you know, this group of guys just we have to get that understanding. We have to move forward. We're halfway through our season. You know, we just got to do a better job.
Kenny had mentioned about getting fitted for a face mask to try and get back sooner. Is that timetable of 4 to 6 weeks initially? Is that going to be on the shorter end of things?
You know, I don't know. He did get fitted. You know, we're waiting to see how that comes through, but he did get fitted the other day, and so, you know, hopefully it'll be here, and then it'll still be the doctor's decision. You know, we're not going to go against what the doctors and the trainers say. So, but his family and he will have input. You know, and as soon as he feels like, you know, he's able to do dry stuff. You know, so he's
Just
running.
not contact.
Yeah, he's running and shooting on his own. You know, so that's the good thing about this injury is, you know, his conditioning won't suffer. It's not like a foot injury or knee injury where he can't do anything. So, you know, when he is able to come back after 4, 5, 6 weeks, whatever the time period is, you know, he should be back ready to go.
Stylistically, even before Bull got hurt, before Vu, before Kenny, all of it, you guys were trending towards a little bit of a slower pace as far as just lower number of possessions. Out of necessity, you had to, with the press and everything in the second half, the possessions went up. But you talked about the numbers, Dana, especially while Kenny's out. Do you feel stylistically you can afford to, when 2 games in a weekend, play at 70 to 75 possessions a game, or is that just too much?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, I don't know. We've got 8 guys right now. I think Will and Luke could give us a couple minutes here and there around TV timeouts if we had to. But, you know, we're playing 8 guys, 2 of them, Francis and Miles, who don't have much experience. So, you know, it's just a dilemma we got to push through. You know, we got to get Miles more minutes. We got to get Francis more minutes. We got to get them comfortable with, you know, through the next 2, 3, whatever weeks we're without Kenny. You know, and then our guards, you know, have to play foul free. And, you know, I think it hurt us on the boards, you know, the other day because, you know, Peyton didn't go to the boards. You got 2 fouls, and then he's worried about fouls, and Paul's in foul trouble, and so we don't have anybody going to the boards, and you know, so we have to stay conscious of fouls, but yet, you know, there's a fine line there too. You got to still be aggressive. You still got to get to the boards. You still got to try to take charges. You still got to try to take some things, you know, and not worry about the foul trouble. So again, you know, it's a work in progress. We're trying to make adjustments on the fly, but you know, to sum it up, you know, what I told the team is our energy levels got to get better, and you know, we got to try to make simple plays on the offensive end, and we've got a team rebound, we got a team defend, and those 3 facets of our game have to improve. And you know, it's simple, but that's what we've got to do day in, day out to try to get better as a team.
You mentioned recently that practices had kind of been thrown into a bit of flux with Boo leaving and Bull and Kenny being injured. It was tough getting 5-on-5s and really kind of filling out your normal practice schedule. Have things kind of settled in now where you guys within practice have a better kind of plan and idea?
Yeah, we don't have enough numbers. We, you know, need to get, I don't know if we're going to talking to some guys about trying to get maybe a couple more practice players just so we could, you know, work the 8 guys that are playing the minutes now, you know, in different combinations. You know, it's pretty hard to, you know, to get everything in the time period we have and try to keep them fresh, you know, because we got, you know, 2 games coming up, and we got to have fresh legs for the games. And so to try to get the possessions we need, you know, it's a little bit tough, you know, because we just don't have enough bodies to go long enough to get some guys some rest, but to get Will on the floor with Paul and Miles, you know, and different combinations that we'd like to use in games. We had a couple combinations out there the other day we never practiced together. you know, and Paul gets foul trouble. You know, we had Ehab out there at 4, and you know, I just you hate as a coach to put your players in that position. You know, to go out there and have offensive possessions and defensive possessions with combinations you haven't talked with and worked through. But you know, you strike a fine balance there. If we're out here on the practice floor for more than 2.5 hours, and you know, the thing is right now with our numbers, we can't rest anybody during practice. So you're out here for 2 hours, everybody's on the floor for all 2 hours. When you have 12, 13 guys, you always got 2 or 3 guys resting, and you keep everybody a little bit fresher. Can go a little longer, you can have a few more possessions. You know, and so, you know, again, that's just part of it. You know, we got to work through it, and we've got to do a better job with it, and I've got to do a better job.
I was actually going to joke with Kelly if he was going to offer you as practice players. But you're saying, is that actually legitimately a possibility, Dan? I mean, you're looking at their male practice players from the women's team right now?
You know, we've got to get
Because they're
somebody.
conditioned and they're here. I mean, I'm asking.
Well, the eligibility things.
Yeah.
You know, so like if we open up tryouts again and you work through the eligibility problems, you know, you could take 2 or 3 weeks, you know, before you get anybody on the floor. We had tryouts early, and we had a couple guys we really wanted, but they didn't meet the NCAA standards, you know, for time and, you know, hours and all that. So, you know, the easiest thing right now is to either get, you know, athletes off other teams or guys that are cleared so that we can practice.
So much what you're talking about sounds like chemistry issues, you know, moving the ball defensively, things like that. How much of that, at the root of it, is the fact that you're having to play groups that you hadn't practiced?
Well, it's part of it. No, it's part of it, you know. I mean, it's no secret. Bowl was a big part of what we were doing. I mean, every combination we were running things through them, and talk about the slower pace. Well, the slower pace was we wanted to give Bowl more touches. We wanted to get him the ball more, you know, and so anyway, it's you know, it's just like I said, there are no excuses. It is what it is, and we've got to work through it. And I don't want our guys using excuses. As a coach, I don't want to use excuses. You know, we got to make the best of it. We got to do a better job, and that falls on me. I haven't done my job. You know, if I'm putting out a combination out there that I haven't worked in practice, then I didn't have the foresight to do it, then that's on me. And I feel bad for the guys because I put them in that position, and I know better than that. But again, I don't know how long we can stay out here and still keep them fresh enough to play. And I'm talking about energy levels, and you know, so again, like I said, I just got to do a better job.
I think for a lot of fans, the whole season, there's going to be this cloud of like what might have been hanging over it. You obviously can't afford to have that. Have you been able to keep your players from doing that?
Well, I try.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, I told them I feel bad for Bowl, and right now I feel bad for Kenny, and that's it. I don't feel bad for you. We got to work through this. You know, nobody's gonna feel sorry for us. You know, so we've got to work through this. But I do feel bad for Bowl. I do feel bad for Kenny because I think they were enjoying playing. And those were the 2 guys that were giving us energy. You know, Kenny's got a great attitude, and Bowl was having success. And when you're having success, you're always up, ready to go. You know, so we just again have to have guys, and we got good guys. They're good guys. They're at a time where they haven't faced anything like this. You know, and they're struggling with it.
Coach, so talking about energy level, I know personnel's changed since last year. When you played UCLA here, the guy who gave you a lot of energy was Victor Bailey. Came off the bench 15 points in the first half. So you see that he can duplicate that. Personnel's changed, but is he somebody that you can get a big lift in the first half? What did he do that game?
Well, he just hit some shots. You know, VJ, you know,